Yo, 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 what's going on, faithful? It's your boy Mike and Nick from Nothing But Niners, and we are here to bring you guys another fun-filled episode. Now, we didn't go live yesterday. However, we did drop the punt pass competition thing that we were doing. All right, we'll talk about all that stuff, I promise. But before we do, we got to get down to the nitty-gritty, go through the formalities. I want to thank you guys for checking us here out on the YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, please hit that like and subscribe button. Give us that thumbs up rating. We always appreciate that. Make sure you guys stop by the website also. That is www.nothingbutniners.com. There you're going to see a bunch of excellent articles written by a bunch of great people. You're also going to find our social media handles there, okay? We are on Twitter and Snapchat. Those handles are nothing but 9, the number 9, ERS. And then you guys can also hit us up on Instagram as well as Facebook. That is Nothing But Niners. That's spelled all the way out, space in between. And give me a follow on Twitter. I am 49ers Mike _NF. And my man Nick, man, he's over there, 49er Faithful 365. What's going on, Nick? How you feeling over there, man? Ready to talk some 49ers football?
49ers football. Yeah, I'm always ready to talk some 49ers football, man. It's like you said, we'll get into that whole punt, pass, and kick or whatever, punt and kick, pass, whatever you want to call it. Video. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, man, I'm excited to talk about our defensive surprise cuts tonight. So I'm kind of excited to talk about that. Now, obviously, we haven't started training camp or things like that. So we're going to take an effect of salary cap hits, things like that, and just players that we picked up and who we think others will outperform. So I'm excited to talk about that.
Absolutely. Let's before we get to the topic, I guess let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room, Jamarcus Hustle over here. I was out there. We did a little punt and pass competition. Now, for the people who like to watch us live on Facebook and they like to comment and all that, not Facebook, I meant YouTube. I want to let you guys know we apologize. We really waited. There was a storm. We were trying to get everything done. We had to wait for the storm. And then when the storm finally passed, YouTube would not work for us at all. It started working, maybe like 40 minutes after we finished recording everything. And by that time, my daughters were spent and we had to get out of there. So we will do this again. I personally was looking forward to the live comments and everything like that from the people watching. So Nick, what were your thoughts on not being able to do it on YouTube, man? I was personally a little disappointed with it. I think the pressure would have made me perform better.
Yeah, well, YouTube, it was all Google platforms. So YouTube, Snapchat, I know Snapchat was down. YouTube, Google itself was down. So it was their servers for Google that had us down. So it wasn't just us. It was pretty much everybody that could not, get onto the show or get onto shows or Snapchat or things like that. So I did Google it later in the night, and that's what it said. But I was kind of upset because I wanted to, obviously our following here and our supporters here are, beyond the best. So I wanted to see what their reactions were for your little escapade that you were doing in punting and kicking, or punting and passing. So that was cool, but we did get some feedback on Periscope. So thanks for those guys. And we uploaded the video, guys. And I'm sorry, for some reason it's face up and down. So I know all of you aren't turning your desktop and stuff like that.
That I'll take blame for that right away. With my phone, if I start a stream in landscape mode, it's widescreen for everyone, and if I start it in portrait, it's narrow and the edges are blacked out. And so I didn't know that Nick had already started recording. I said, "Oh no, turn it the other way. That way it's full screen for everybody." So that's on me. However you start it, you have to leave your camera that angle. It's always going to keep it that way. So if you turn your phone sideways, you ended up recording sideways. So that's on me. That was definitely my fault, which is also another reason why we're going to do it all over again. So that way you guys aren't watching the screen.
Don't let Mike lie to you. We're just doing it again because he didn't hit his goal of 60 yards, which I think he can, but he didn't that day. But he come out there in some filas and it's like, oh, the grass is slippery. But he impressed me. So, with that being said, not that he needs to impress me, but I didn't think he was going to get close to that. But he did. He beat his goal of his punting, and he came very, very close to getting the ball thrown to 60 yards. So
the feelers would have been okay if it didn't rain, man. It got slippery. Nick, you saw I went to go measure and I was slipping, just walking away. Literally just walking away. And there was no way I was gonna put my all into
it's that 1980 grips on those Fila, man.
Yeah, man. You know, I gotta bring them back though. You know, that's what we do over here. It's all right. I might wear some Reebok Classics out there next time, you know. We'll see.
But it was definitely fun. It was definitely fun. I wish I could have participated. You know, I tried to do a punt, but I couldn't get my arm fully extended to do a correct drop. But yeah, it was fun, man. We had my son out there, which was cool because I haven't been able to see him for a few weeks or so. So that was cool. His video I posted of him kicking field goals, man, that went a little viral. There's like over 2,500 views on it. A lot of comments and stuff like that on Twitter. I posted a picture of him and David Akers because David Akers had worked with him when he was younger, about 9 or 10. And David Akers responded back to us, said he remembered him, and, you know, awesome job of him. So getting a lot of love for him for his field goal kicks, which was really cool.
That's dope. That is dope, man. That's good to hear, man. So hopefully, he said he's going out for the AFL or CFL this year, right?
Yeah, I think he said he's gonna try out for the CFL this year for kicking. He's got to get back into it though. You know, he used to kick when he was younger. He punted, kicked, was a defensive end and a fullback in high school. When he was a youth football, played defensive end, fullback, and he kicked also. But punted more in high school and kicked field goals in high school. So he hasn't been able to do it much because, you know, he fishes for Bassmasters, so he's been a little bit busy. But I think he's going to start to practice more and more, and I think he has his mindset on trying out for the CFL.
Yeah, man. All right, so let's get to it really quick. Nick, do you have the live chat pulled up over there?
I do.
You do? Okay. So I'm not working on my end, so must be something I'm doing wrong. I apologize. There it goes.
Go Hard said I used to have the meanest Fila sweatsuit back in middle school. Do you remember those? Fila used to have those jumpsuits. They weren't like a sweat. They were kind of like a windbreaker type. Those I can remember wearing those going to these like dances at like Sacred Heart, and they'd have like the matching pants, matching jacket. But that's so long ago, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, man, I'm bringing it back. I've been wearing my Filas for a couple of years now. I got to keep them clean though, because you know they'll clown you if you got dirty Filas. So they clown you for having Filas anyway, but if they dirty, it's even worse. So I got to keep them clean. It's like Day with his tens. They tens, but I keep them clean. So. All right, man. So we're gonna get to it now. Again, guys, this is not set in stone. We're gonna try to talk about
voice, lost sound. Nothing yet. So we're gonna talk about 5 total players on the defensive side that we think are going to be surprise cuts. And like I said, we're going to talk about this as whether it be cap hits, injury, just somebody that we brought in who we think is going to outperform them, things like that. So this should be fun. Like I said, don't hold anything to us because obviously training camp hasn't started yet, but this is just something fun, a little fun exercise as to what good players are we going to be cutting this year because the Niners got better. So that's what we're kind of pushing towards right here. Did the Niners get that much better on the defensive side of the football this year? And if they did, who are the good players that we'll be cutting? And we're not going to go with the guys that are obvious. We're going to give you some surprise cuts and names like that. So
why don't you kick us off with the first one there, man, and I'll follow up with the next person.
All right. So we talked about a little bit about this, and you know I've never been on this player is going to come to me as a surprise cut. Not that I don't think it shouldn't happen, but it's going to be a surprise cut because of how long he's been around. He's been tenured. We went out, we re-signed him, we gave him another deal. We exercised his option last year. Then we brought him back in as a free agent this year. So to me, this player is going to be a surprise cut just because of everything that the Niners have done for him to keep him around. And now with the addition of Moore moving to free safety, you got Adrian Colbert back there. And you heard Tart and them say as well that the strong safety and free safety in this scheme are interchangeable. So therefore, I'm going to say that it's going to be Ward. And the reason I say that Jimmy Ward, like I said, is because he's been here throughout this whole tenure, and the team kept going back to him. And so now with his injury, the talk around the league or around the team with him and injuries and things like that, I just think it's going to be a surprise cut to me now, because we did go out and get him again this year, signing him as a free agent for a 1-year deal, and then him getting hurt again. So I think that the Niners are going to surprise me and actually cut him before the 2019 season.
That'll be hard to watch because, like you said, they've been so committed to this guy. And if you guys watch the pressers from last week, Robert Saleh had glowing remarks. He said it was weird because he wasn't even talking about Jimmy Ward at that moment. He said, if Verrett is healthy, he and Jimmy Ward are top 20 DBs in the league. And if you feel that highly about someone, I think it's almost impossible to let somebody go like that, especially with all the money you've invested into him. However, if Jimmy Ward happens to have another injury before we even start week 1, I could absolutely see it happening. I mean, how many times do you have to get burned before you know to stop touching the stove? You know what I mean? And the Niners have kept their hands hovering over the heat for far too long, just getting burned time after time with this guy. And so it's very, very likely that it could happen, top 20 DB or not. And, Robert Saleh said that. I'm this close to agreeing with him on it. I'll be honest. I'm this close to agreeing with him that Jimmy Ward is a top 20 type corner or safety, DB in the league. I know people are going to kill me for saying that because I say that DeForest Buckner is fringe top 12. But, it is what it is. I trust my eyes, and I know the talent that Jimmy Ward has. It's just that he's never out there. And I think him not being out there is going to be the reason why he could end up getting cut. That plus his if I'm not mistaken, he has a dead cap hit of almost $1 million this year. Let me see if I still have it pulled up over here. Jimmy Ward was up at the top.
Yeah, either way, I think post or pre or post June is still, I think, a $3 million hit.
Yep, $3 million. So
yeah,
it's not good. Cutting him would be a surprise financially as well as talent that you're letting go of. So I think if there's a reason to let him go, it's going to have to be health and health alone. So, I think Jimmy Ward would definitely be a surprise cut.
And like I said, the only reason I'm labeling as a surprise cut is because of how much the Niners have put out their neck for him. To see that, I'm not a big Jimmy Ward fan. To say the least. It's not about him. It's not about him as a player. It's just about him and his health issues and the ability to stay available, and that's pretty much what it has been. And if it becomes a surprise, it becomes a surprise cut to me, like I said, because the Niners have stuck their neck out for him and he just continues to let them down. So the whole reason it would be a surprise is because the Niners have done whatever they could to keep him here, exercising a 5th-year option, re-signing him as a free agent, and just letting him, cut the lines, I guess you could say, to stay on this team.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to keep the thing moving here. I'm going to bring up my guy here, who I have as a surprise cut, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'll get to why right after. It's going to be Malcolm Smith. Everyone knows that Malcolm Smith has been a bit of a disappointment his time here in San Francisco. He's someone who just renegotiated his contract and all, but his contract is still precisely why I think it'll be a surprise cut. The team has already invested a lot of money into this guy. He's finally healthy. And I just don't know what you can expect from him from a contribution standpoint. We've picked up 2 other linebackers this offseason. We drafted one last year. We picked up one in free agency in Quan Alexander. We drafted my guy. What's his name? Oh, Dre Greenlaw. Jeez, I was blanking there. We drafted Greenlaw. I mean, the linebacking core was it's okay. And then if we're going to be in nickel a lot and things like that, they can use Tart in that mode and all. So I think I'm going to have to put him on this list. And again, it's not talent because we all think that he should be cut based off of talent. but it's the money that the team has invested into this guy. He has the 10th highest dead cap hit number on the roster right now. Actually, 11th. There's 10 players over him with a higher dead cap hit this year, and that's after the restructure. So I'm just not sure that they would do it just for that purpose alone. That's why I got this as a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you. Malcolm Smith has overextended his stay here. You brought him in at a high amount of money. Once you brought him in at that high amount of money, you were kind of held to him in the first year or so, due to the fact of how much it cost you to get him in here. After the fact of bringing him in here, you were able to build up your linebacking core a little more. I'm not saying that Dre Greenlaw is going to be, the next Navarro Bowman or Patrick Willis, but you also had a very good play out of Mark last year, stepping in it when needed as well. But for the most part, it's going to come down to money, and that's the reason it's going to be a surprise cut for me, is because we paid him so much money, but it's also his health is the same issue. But yeah, I'm in a total agreement with you there with Malcolm Smith. I'm excited to see. I keep hearing Dre Greenlaw's name, and how he's been showing out and been, I think even Salah and forget who the other presser was saying how well he's been playing in this scheme, how well he's been fitting. He's been playing on special teams. He's been playing well. I think at Sam linebacker position. So which also does not go well for Malcolm Smith. So I wouldn't be surprised about that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right. You're up next, man. You went first. I went second. So, and again, guys, this is not about talent. I don't think anybody will be shocked if we knew Malcolm Smith got cut, but I just think from a financial standpoint. So just got to keep it in context of the why we think these guys are going to be cut. Let's just say something crazy happened and CJ Beathard is suddenly the best quarterback on the roster, and they think Nick Mullins is further along than Jimmy Garoppolo. We would all be completely shocked if Jimmy Garoppolo was cut because of how much money he's guaranteed already. So keep it in the context. It's not about the talent we're talking about. It's about the financial ramifications of cutting a guy like that. So that's all that's about. Go ahead, Nick. The floor is yours for the next guy.
All right, this one's gonna hurt me a little bit because I really like this player. I don't know if you're in agreement with me or not, but with the additions that we've made to the defensive line, you got Sheldon Day now, you got DJ Jones, which are two players that can play the one, and the three if needed. But you have DeForest Buckner, you got Nick Bosa now, you got D Ford, just to name a few. And then you have Eric Armstead, Solomon Thomas, and Ronald Blair. So a surprise cut for me this year with the amount of money that he's making, which is not a lot. To keep him around would not be hard. But with the additions that we made on this defensive line, man, I'm going to have to go with Ronald Blair, man. And that's my guy. That's my dude. Like, I really like Ronald Blair. But I think that'll be a surprise cut for me.
I think you're nuts. I can't name 7 better defensive linemen than him, and so that's why I can't. I'm looking at the list here on who's on the payroll right now. I mean, D Ford, okay, cool. Solomon Thomas, we get it, the invested draft pick. You got him, Ronald Blair. You got Contavious Street, invested draft pick. Capron Lewis Moore, sorry, you're not better than him. Nick Bosa, potentially better. That's your defensive ends. You got your tackles and Eric Armstead. All right, we've invested a lot in him. Buckner, obviously the best defensive lineman we've got probably. Sheldon Day, I'd take Blair over Day. DJ Jones, all right, our best DT, our nose tackle.
That's 7 right there.
But I'm saying he's our best nose tackle. Like, that's just nose tackle. Because everyone else, Cedric Thornton, Julian Taylor, Kevin Givens, Jamil Garcia-Williams. That's it. None of those guys are better. That's why I said 7. He's definitely in my top 7, man. And I haven't said Contavious Street is better. I just know what we invested in him. I don't think Solomon Thomas is better, but I know what we've invested in him. I don't have 7 defensive linemen ahead of him. And so this would be a shock because we've seen him produce when his number's called. So I do agree with you that this is a shock. That's what we're going for here. We're looking to see what moves would be made that would shock people. If it came down to, Solomon Thomas or Ronald Blair's getting cut. The Niners have invested too much in this guy, in Solomon Thomas. So I agree with you that if it happens, it would definitely be a shock. He's dirt cheap. He's only making what, $787,000 this year. Oh boy. I don't know.
It'll definitely be a surprise cut.
All right. Damn, that made me sad, Nick. This was supposed to be a fun show, dude. Like you got me in my feels over here, bro. So now, oh man. I'm gonna stick with linebackers though for my next guy. And this is a shock because he's really good on special teams. And I'm gonna go with Mark Nazalcha. Does this count as a surprise? I'm taking Mark Nazalcha because the 49ers have invested a couple of nice pieces to this linebacking group, and I just don't think that he's going to outplay any of these guys that we've picked up. He's not going to take the spot of Fred Warner. He's not going to take the spot of, hell, even Elijah Lee. I don't think that he's going to get in over Greenlaw, Quan Alexander. I mean, even though he's inside. And I think David Mayo can do what he does on special teams. I don't see it. I don't see Mark Nazalcha making it. He wasn't that good of a player. He was an asset on special teams, but like I said, I think we can replace that. So, yeah, I won't even drag this out with some long soliloquy. What are your thoughts on Mark Nazalcha being a surprise cut? Does it count as a surprise?
I wouldn't count that one so much as a surprise, but it would be a surprise a little bit because, I don't even think it would really be a little bit of a surprise because David Mayo can actually play the linebacker position. Dre Greenlaw can actually play the linebacker position. Both of those play special teams. Mark Nazalcha, I can never say his damn name. Najalku. I don't care. Whatever. Mark N. All right. I'm not sure if it'd be a surprise cut for me because it's somebody who is not one of those higher tier players who played really extremely well for the Niners. So I'm not sure if it'd be a surprise cut. I mean, do I think that he doesn't make this team? Probably, but he's not making a ton of money. But I mean, obviously I'm going to agree with you here. I'm just not sure if it's going to be as much of a surprise to us as it would be for anybody else as well.
I have another surprise cut name, but I know it won't happen. You know what? No, I'm not putting myself out there. People already think I'm a hater. I'm not. It's a corner, and I know you know who it is, but I'm not going to say it on camera.
Funny that you say that because I'm going to go with a corner as well.
That's going to get cut?
On my fifth guy, yeah.
Well, I mean, the floor is yours. If the room doesn't like my Nazalcha choice, I'll come back and do another one. But it's on you now. So you got the last guy for the night. You got the fifth guy.
People are gonna laugh at me when I say this and probably shit on me as much, but and I've stuck up for this guy as much as I possibly could.
You don't stick up for anybody. Who?
It's not Richard Sherman, which is who your guy would be. I'm gonna go with Jason Verrett. I don't think he comes back completely healthy in the beginning, and he can't showcase what he can actually do. And with him being out right now, Akello getting all those snaps, and Richard Sherman still getting all those snaps, I think this would be a surprise cut for me. Does Akello exceed what they're looking for him to do to where Jason Verrett is no longer a need and can't hold on to him? He's not making a ton of money, but he's making some money. Whether it would save us money or not, it would be a surprise cut for me. Not that I think he's really going to get cut, but I think it would be a surprise cut for me.
Oh man, I think he's healthier than Richard Sherman right now, so I can't see his health being an issue.
Well, he can't be. He's not practicing. How's he healthier?
That doesn't mean anything. A lot of guys aren't practicing right now who are capable of going out there and playing right now if there was a game today. Jimmy Ward is capable of playing. They just don't want him in 11 on 11s.
Jimmy Ward's not capable of playing right now.
I said Jimmy Ward. I'm looking at TV here. I didn't mean to say Jimmy Ward. I meant to say Jimmy Garoppolo. My bad. Because they have Jimmy Garoppolo doing 7 on 7s, but not 11 on 11s. They don't want a chance lineman running into him. He's healthy enough. If there was a game today, Jimmy would be playing. Nick Bosa, if there was a game, he would be playing. They're holding him out. They're doing a lot of stuff out of precaution. I think he's healthier than Richard Sherman is, or maybe he's just more of an asset than Richard Sherman is right now. But I'm not sure. You know, if this wasn't a show about people getting cut before the season started, I would probably have some other names for you, like maybe some coaches on the defensive side of the ball getting cut by the end of the season. But that's not what we're doing. We're talking about before week 1 cuts, and so it's a little different. If I have to name someone else, though, people don't like my other defensive player pick.
People have to understand that we're not saying these players are going to be cut or we want them cut. It's a matter of it would be a surprise cut. Like, we wouldn't be expecting it. So if they get cut, it's a surprise to us. That people are saying, oh, well, that person's not going to get cut. That person's not going to get cut, but they still have a possibility of getting cut. So to us, it would be a surprise. We're not saying these guys don't make the 53 because we just don't think they make the 53. If they don't make the 53 and they get cut, it's a surprise to us. So that's what we're kind of doing here. It's not that we're saying this guy will get cut or this guy will make the team. If he doesn't make the team and gets cut, it's a surprise. And that's kind of what we're going over right now.
It's in the title, guys. Scroll up a little bit. Or actually, if you're watching the video, it's right underneath it. It's right there. Predicting surprise cuts. It's not guys that we expect, not even guys that we want. It's just some surprises. So, Nick, let me ask you a question, man. Would Quan Williams be a surprise cut for you?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely be a surprise cut for me. I think he's you know how I am with Quan, so I think he's the best nickel corner that we have on this team right now. When healthy.
I like him. So
you lost sound again. So Mike was talking about Quan Williams. I definitely think that would be like I said, a surprise cut. I've been on the Quan wagon for a couple of years. So to me, he's the best nickel DB that we have. When he plays fierce. Like he just, I don't know. People are saying that DJ Reed is much better. I don't agree with that. I think DJ Reed could be better, but I don't agree with that right now.
I like DJ Reed, but I do think that Quan Williams is a more physical tackler coming downhill, going towards the line of scrimmage, back in space. And if the person he's covering has to run a longer route, I think he might be a little bit worse than DJ Reed. I would take DJ Reed's coverage skills a little bit more than Williams, but Williams is a very physical dude. He's a downhill thumper. And he makes his presence felt immediately when he's out there on the field. I remember when he came back towards the end of the season, I was like, oh my God, like I miss seeing that dude out there. Like the first game he was back out there. But that was in like run support and things like that. You know, like I said, the coverage and going downfield, that's where it was a little bit different. But Quan Williams, I mean, he would still be a surprise cut because you have someone of his caliber. You don't want to let him go because you like DJ Reed. It's okay to have a good backup there, especially because we already listed Jimmy Ward, who would probably be the other option there as being our surprise cut already. So,
yeah, I mean, like you said, It'll definitely be a surprise cut because I think he's one of the better defensive backs on this team if he gets cut. If he gets cut, then that means somebody's outperforming him, and it's better. So
I got a name that I had on here for defensive lineman, but I didn't think it would be a surprise, and that was Sheldon Day. I don't see the space on this roster for him, so that's why I didn't name him, but he was someone that I was thinking about. I guess he would be like my honorable mention. Would you think that he would be a surprise cut, Nick?
I think he'd be a surprise cut, only for the fact that I think he's one of the better guys that we have on this front. I like Sheldon Day. I don't know what everybody has an issue with Sheldon Day for, but I think that he's one of the better guys. He's not the top guy, obviously, but I haven't seen Katavius Street yet. I haven't seen Julian Taylor yet. I've seen Sheldon Day. So if he got cut for guys that we haven't seen yet, obviously it would be a surprise to me. So I'm not saying Katavius Street is better than Sheldon Day, nor am I going to say Julian Taylor is better than Sheldon Day because I haven't seen them perform at all yet.
Well, we've seen Julian Taylor where he didn't do much. That's how much he didn't do, that you don't even remember seeing him play in games, and he did.
Yeah, and I mean Sheldon Day is he just does his job. He's not like he's a good run stopper. He gets on his guys like he should. He's not like a liability. You know what I mean? He's not one of those guys that, you're playing interior defensive line. If you're not getting the sacks and you're stopping the run, you're still doing your job. Like that, you're supposed to stuff up the holes and beat your guy, yes, but your main goal is stuff the holes and keep everything contained and stop the run, anything inside. And Sheldon Day does that. So to me, it would be a surprise.
I get you. I like the way he does pretty good against double teams too. He's a strong guy down at the point of attack. But I think that if he was cut, I don't think fans would be surprised. I don't think that the average fan would be surprised. But
well, the average fan probably doesn't really know who Sheldon Day is either.
That's true.
I mean, you're saying, well, the average fan probably wouldn't be surprised, but they probably don't even know who Sheldon Day is.
That's true. And that's why these kind of things are hard for me to do in particular. And I know you watch just as much tape as I do. Like, I'm all about the depth guys. You know how I was banging the Julian Taylor drum from the moment we picked him up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all about the guys way down at the bottom of the roster. I'm pulling for guys like Kendrick Bourne and things like that. I like the depth pieces. Yeah, it's cool. I can sit here and tell you that, Pettis and Samuel are going to make the roster, and you know what I mean? Marquise Goodwin is likely safe and all that, but I'm watching the guys down at the bottom of that position group. Those are the guys I'm keeping my eye on. We weren't planning on it, but do you want to talk about some of the wide receiver news or that clip that came out today of Wes Welker? Like, did you get a chance to see that? The mic'd up?
I want to know why Wes Welker was making Debo run. Was it because he flinched at that ball? Like, what was the whole purpose of him making him run?
It could have been some kind of punishment, but then if it was a punishment, why was he running with him? Coaches don't usually run it with you if it's a punishment.
Yeah, no, I know. But I was just like, when he's talking to him and he's like, and Debo's like, oh, you like those reflexes, huh? He's like, reflexes? It looked like you got scared. And then he walked away and he's like, we're running after practice. You're still running after practice, right? So I'm like trying to think why he was having him run and then out there running with him.
Yeah. That was your big surprise of the video?
Well, he was the funniest part was how he was cracking on KB for being dressed.
Yo, that made me honestly think that Bourne is a lock to make the roster. I'm not kidding, man.
I don't know about that.
You don't joke with guys like that unless you really, really like them. I don't know if I like this swag or if I should fine your ass. And then at the end of it, he's like, you can dress like that all the time if you're going to keep playing like this. That means that he's out there and he's impressing those guys, man. I liked it, man. That gave me a lot of confidence in my man KB making the roster, yo. I don't like that he was calling the receivers by their initials because DP is not something I'm calling Dante Pettis. It's never happening.
Yeah, I was like sitting there for a second there. I'm like, DP. Oh, Dante Pettis. Because I'm like, wait, who's he talking about? Like,
yeah.
If he said KB, then you know that because that's what we've been. But I've never heard Dante Pettis as DP. KB, DS, like what, like. But dude, my man looks. I'm not even gonna say it. Like you got a crop top on, bro. Like you cut a jersey and you're wearing a crop top, and he
He
seems like.
folded it. He didn't cut it. He folded it. And it's the same thing we saw Zeke do and all that. Maybe it was hot out there, you know. He's lanky. Maybe his abdomen was sweating. All right.
Get the heck out of here.
Listen, man. He liked Kendrick Bourne, man. You don't joke with guys like that you don't think are making the team. I'm just saying, like you walk right past those kind of guys. Those were friendly like jabs. And then, like I said, go back and watch the very end of it. You keep playing like that, you can dress however you want. He said it.
Well, he said after you practice today, if you practice good, then that's what he said. He's like, it'll all depend on how you practice today.
No, that's not what it was. It was like keep playing like that, and you can.
No, I'm saying before in the beginning of the video, when he said, I don't know whether to
like applaud you or fine
like applaud you or fine you, and he's like, I guess it really depends on how you practice today. And then at the end, he's like, if you practice like that, then you can wear whatever you want. So that's what I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I don't know how to take it. I really don't. I'm not reading into anything with one good practice. Like I'm not. We saw one catch of him, and like
I don't care if I didn't see any catches. I didn't see what he liked about him today. But I know that body language, man, body language and interactions with people and players. There's a human element to it, man. He likes that guy. He likes him, man. I'm telling you.
All right, so I don't know. I know me and you feel differently. Like you like Kendrick Bourne, I like Trent Taylor. And to me, we've talked about receivers before, and I just don't see I don't have KB as a lock on this team right now. And now can he come out and do something different this preseason and training camp to make a squad? Yeah. But he had 42 catches last year, and that was because there were so many injuries to the team. Was it because he was outperforming everybody? No. It was because he got a shot, and it was only 42 catches for the entire year, 16 games. So that's really not that much. That just shows you led a team with 42 receptions of all receivers. That just shows you how bad we were in the receiving corps last year with injuries. So does KB get that confidence level and plays better? Because there are things that he needs to work on. I'm not saying he's a horrible receiver, because he's not a horrible receiver. I don't want to say that. But to me, I'm not sure if he's quite a lock yet with all the guys that weren't healthy last year being healthy.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, look, man, he played in 16 games, or he was active for 16, but he only started in 8 of them. You know what I mean? And he was also our best red zone wide receiver, like including George Kittle. He was our best red zone threat. That kind of stuff has to come into play, man. You can't.
Why was he the best red zone threat?
Because he led the team in red zone receptions. That's just who he was. I don't make up the stats. It's just what it is.
From the end zone? Like no, touchdown wise?
I said red zone. He led the team in red zone receptions.
Okay.
So I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, it's hard to hate on the guy, man.
But you're saying he led red zone with guys that weren't there receiver wise.
I said that includes George Kittle.
Yeah, that includes George Kittle. But George Kittle's not a wide receiver. I'm talking about wide receivers.
And even including George Kittle, the non-wide receiver, our team leading receiver.
Right. Why was he? So you're telling me he would have been the team leading receiver if we had all of our receivers that were unhealthy healthy?
Where did you get that from? I'm just telling you what the guy was. You're putting words in my mouth now.
No, and that's what but you're contradicting what I was saying, as in he got those numbers because of injuries, and you're like, well, he still was the leading receiver in red zone. Well, yeah, because nobody else was there. So I agree with you. I'm not saying that I disagree with you. I'm just saying that I think he was that guy because there was nobody else there.
And right. And what I'm saying is, even with George Kittle there, he was still the team leading red zone threat. That's all I'm saying. Even with George Kittle there, why not go to the bigger body George Kittle? it was Kendrick Bourne that was the guy that they were going to in the tight confined spaces. So I just think that's pretty cool, man. The young man's got a lot to hang his hat on. He's got a lot of room to grow, and he's got a pretty good catch percentage and everything, 63.6%. And we saw some boneheaded drops. Imagine if he holds on to, 3 of those plays that he should have converted for first downs. You know what I mean? It changes his completion percentage to over 65%. It's actually it's like 68% at that point. So it makes a big difference, man. Those 3 catches right there, they change the way you think about him, because then he's a chain mover in your head. He's got another touchdown in your head, and his catch percentage is almost 70% catch rate. Like it's not bad. He's not bad. We could do a lot worse. I can tell you that.
And I hope that he comes out in balls this year, because that means that the team is better. It's just a matter of, there was things that I thought he needs to work on from last year. I just don't think his mindset was there the entire year. But that's not saying that he couldn't have gotten better this year. I hope he does, because if he does, that means we're in a good position. I'm not saying that he's probably – I told you before, me personally, between Bourne – the receivers are going to be very hard to cut this year. No matter – you're cutting a good player, no matter where you're cutting. Do you agree on that?
Hell yeah. Like I said, look, man, you know how much I like Richie James. I can't say for sure that I would take Richie James over Kendrick Bourne. I think Kendrick Bourne was more of an asset to this team than Richie James was. So, and you know how I feel about Richie James. Like, I'm not letting go of Kendrick Bourne for Richie James right now. I'm not comfortable enough to say that.
I'm not either. But you're keeping 7 receivers and I'm keeping 6. So that's where our little debacle comes into place, as in you're keeping 7, I'm keeping 6, but you're keeping James over Taylor. I'm keeping Taylor over Bourne because I'm only keeping 6.
I was trying to see if I could find the stats where his receptions came from. And I pulled up the splits, but these aren't those kind of splits. This is home, away, wins and losses, and all that kind of stuff. It's not I'm trying to find it down in distance here. 3rd and 5 plus. Here we go. Field position. Opponent 19 to go. All right, here we go. So an opponent's 19 to goal, which would be our red zone. He had 4 touchdowns. All 4 of his touchdowns came in the red zone. All right, that's probably why he was the team's best red zone threat right there. No one else got 4 touchdowns in the red zone. He was the only one. So that's probably it right there. Let's see. He had 9 receptions. 9 of his receptions were inside the 20, and 4 of them were for touchdowns. So he was the guy down there. Like I said, when the field got confined and compacted, it was his time. And I know that he dropped one. There was that one game. He actually ended up catching a touchdown pass that same game. I think it was the same drive. I think the pass was to him, and Marquise Goodwin jumped up and tried to get in front of it, but it hit his fingers. Do you remember? Then they were talking to each other right after the play was over.
Yeah, one was in the back of the end zone, one was in the front of the end zone.
Yeah, like they were crossing like this, and Marquise jumped up in front, and then Bourne still had a chance to get his hands on it. I think that was the Raiders game. It was either the Raiders or the Chargers. It was one of those LA teams. Oakland. I'm sorry. It was one of those California teams, and he still ended up coming down. Or was it the Denver game? Damn it! Now I really can't remember which one. It's one of those 3 games. But
yeah, I don't recall what game it was.
I know that he ended up on the same drive. I think he ended up getting a touchdown reception. So he was just the guy for whatever reason in confined spaces. So he's got, like I said, he's got a lot to hang his hat on. He's got a lot to grow, and I think he could be really good with some consistency.
So this is where you're getting, like, so is he replaceable?
Literally everybody's replaceable. What do you mean by that?
I'm saying in those positions, in that stat category. I'm just asking you a question. I know everybody.
I need more context to it. I don't know. The answer is yes. Everybody's.
So here you go. So why can't Hurd come in here and do what Kendrick Bourne does?
because we haven't seen her do it. We got to see him do it first.
Right, but I agree with you. I'm just saying I think that what you got out of Bourne, you can get out of a Hurd or you can get out of a Debo. Like, you're going to get better numbers out of those two guys probably compared to what you're going to get out of Bourne.
You can get what you got out of Pettis out of Debo. I don't understand. I don't know where you're going with that. I don't get it. Can someone else do what someone else on the field is doing?
I'm just saying. So, like, I don't know how to explain this. Because everybody pumps up Kendrick Bourne for what he did last year, right? Now, I'm not just saying you in general. I'm saying people pump up Kendrick Bourne for what he did last year. 42 receptions, 487 yards, right? That's what he did. When we talk about guys like Taylor or talk about guys like Debo, which I don't know what he's going to be, but they're obviously, everybody on this team is replaceable, right? We both agree with that. Everybody on this team is replaceable. 42 receptions for 487 yards is not that much to be pumped up about. Like, people want to save Kendrick Bourne to stay here because he had 42 receptions and 487 yards. But the year that Trent Taylor had 400 and some odd yards, he wasn't needed.
You're arguing against yourself. You were all on Trent Taylor's jock for the same exact stats and less touchdowns than what Kendrick Bourne has.
For what reason though?
Because what? You tell me why. I have no idea why you liked him.
Because he was a dependable receiver on third downs.
Yeah, and I said that to you. I said that the entire time to you. I said if it wasn't for those third down catches, you wouldn't even remember what Trent Taylor did. You wouldn't care. You're like, that's not true. The catches are the catches. And I was like, Nick, I'm telling you that they only mean more to you because in your head, he kept the chains moving. There were bigger plays in your head. And what I'm telling you is that the production is the production. You put their numbers next to each other. Kendrick Bourne's numbers are better, yet you can't stand them. But for whatever reason, you love Trent Taylor. If Bourne's receptions just happen to be on third down, then you would feel different.
You're putting words in my mouth. It's not that I love Trent Taylor. I like Trent Taylor. The reason I like Trent Taylor is because he doesn't have stupid mishaps. He runs the right routes. Kendrick Bourne doesn't all the time. He catches anything that's thrown to him in a general vicinity. He's got better hands than Kendrick Bourne. Third, he was a go-to guy and caught every single thing that was thrown to him for a first down to move the chains. Kendrick Bourne didn't do all of that. I like the game that Trent Taylor brings in the third down game better than I like the game that Kendrick Bourne brings. Are both of them replaceable? Absolutely. If Debo comes in here and wants to play the slot and he's playing way better than Taylor, I'd cut Taylor. But to me, between Taylor and Bourne, I think Taylor has better hands. I think he's a better route runner than Kendrick Bourne. And the only difference that Kendrick Bourne probably has is yards after the catch better than Trent Taylor. And he's not even superb at that because there's multiple times he could have scored touchdowns and took wrong angles.
Kendrick Bourne had a better catch percentage than Trent Taylor last year.
Yeah, but Trent Taylor was injured last year.
I said catch percentage. It has nothing to do with number of opportunities. If he had one target in court one, he would be 100%. I'm telling you, catch percentage.
I understand it. So okay.
We're talking about random stuff now. I'm just letting you know that Kendrick Bourne's catch percentage was better than Trent Taylor's was last year. That's all. I'm just saying.
So percentages don't go down with more attempts?
No, actually. If you had 100 attempts and you only dropped 30, then you're at 70%.
But
however,
if you only had 50,
if you have 40, if you have 50 attempts, you drop.
Never mind.
What were you going to say? If you have 50 and you drop 30?
You would have a 20% catch.
It would be a lot lower. Your catch percentages, yeah. It would be a lot lower.
I think the same reasons I'm arguing about Trent Taylor are the reasons that you don't like Trent Taylor, but they're the same reasons that I don't like Bourne. You don't like Taylor because he can't do anything with the ball after the catch.
Well,
That
I
is
mean,
exactly why you don't like Trent Taylor,
no,
right?
well, it's also the fact that you love Trent Taylor, and he was a starter. He was the slot guy for all three quarterbacks, and those were his stats. Where Kendrick Bourne wasn't a starter, but for half of a season, he put up the same production, and you just can't stand it. I don't
But
get
Mike,
it.
you got to understand, starters in the NFL other than offensive line or defensive line is nothing. You just go out the first play, that you're considered a starter. That doesn't mean that you just because you're not out there the first time doesn't mean you don't play more snaps than the person that went out there at first. A starter in the NFL as a receiver or a tight end and a running back is just the person who's on the field at the very first snap. That is considered your starter. Other than that, it doesn't matter. The rest of the game, how it plays out, your snap percentages and things like that are totally different game in, game out. So to say starter is for
Well,
one play.
games played in. Yeah, yeah. You know I don't care about the starting and not starting, but Trent Taylor played in 15 games. Like he was active. He was the slot guy.
And Kendrick Bourne played in 16.
He was active for 16. Yeah, absolutely. Trent Taylor was active for 15, but Trent Taylor was the slot guy his rookie year, right?
Yeah.
He was the slot guy. Like that there it was Trent Taylor, and then there was other people who were rotating when he was tired. He was given that slot position. And he
Okay.
had 43 receptions?
I don't know. I didn't look it up.
But Kendrick Bourne was a rotational player at best. We're talking about wide receiver 4 on this team. 5. And then if someone gets injured, okay, he moves up a spot. He moves up another spot. Like he had to earn his reps. And then I don't know. I just don't understand the double standard. I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm not worried about it or anything like that. I think Kendrick Bourne has a lot of potential. I do see the potential in a lot of these guys, and that's a lot of the time that's what I fall sucker to. Hey, look, I'm the Quentin Patton man. What do I know about wide receivers? I'm over here going crazy for Quentin Patton. So
I'm not saying anything about Quentin Patton. But no, Kendrick Bourne has a ton of potential. So does Trent Taylor. Those guys that are on his team right now have a ton of talent, whether it be on the outside, whether it be on the inside. They both have potential. But Trent Taylor hype was so big because of what he did, right? That's why Trent Taylor's hype is so big. And then Kendrick Bourne's hype is so big because just like Trent Taylor, what he was doing the year before injury, was hyping up the fans. Kendrick Bourne hyped up the fans because he was our go-to guy. He was the go-to guy. And
right. But you got to keep in mind now, like that's what I'm saying. So yeah, he kept the chains moving, but that's why I said Kendrick Bourne was the guy in the red zone. Like he was the go-to guy down there. Like they all have their listen. We can go back and forth all day. This is what I do know. There's a lot of wide receiver weapons out here. There's a lot of targets for Jimmy or Nick or CJ to throw the ball to.
Don't even say CJ.
These guys this team is going to be really, really special, man. The fact that people are like, no, give me this guy, no, give me that guy. And we're talking about these guys who are at the bottom. These aren't the top 3 guys. No matter how you look at it. They might not even be top 4 this year. Neither one of them. Neither one. Like you got Pettis, Debo. I don't know where Hurd's going to get in. I don't know. That injury is going to be hampering him. But if they keep Marquise Goodwin, those are your top 3. It's Pettis, Debo, and Goodwin, right? That's your top 3. I'm not sure if Taylor or Bourne is going to be wide receiver 4 because if Matthews makes the roster, he's probably getting starts over with both of those guys. He's getting snaps over both. I don't know, man. It's going to be a fun. My God, I need football to hurry up and get here, man, so I can stop wearing this tight ass stuff and get back to my jerseys, man.
2 months, man. 2 months.
Yeah. What do you we talk about trying to predict this stuff and things like that. We're going to do offense for the next show, and we'll try to come up with 5 surprise cuts on offense. And we just talked about wide receivers a little bit here. What do you don't think there's going to be any surprise cuts in the running back group at all? I can't wait to see what you have to say about the surprise cuts next week, because for someone who doesn't want to cut any of the running backs, I don't see how you're going to have to cut one of them, at least one.
Yeah, it's gonna be somebody other than Mostert. It's going to be somebody other than McKinnon, Coleman, and Breida. That's
Wait, what?
It's going to be other guys other than those four. There's other running backs on this list right now that are taking snaps, and it's going to be those guys. I'm not trying to say no names because I'm trying to get one more.
Yeah, I get you. I get you, man. It's all good. It's all good, man. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we go? I mean, I got a little bit more energy over here. I'm not in a rush to go. But if there's something else you want to talk about, I saw some people asking how I was feeling. I am fine, believe it or not. I expected to be really sore, especially my shoulder. If anything, my thighs are a little tighter, but I don't think that's from. I don't know what that's from. I don't know. Let me not say anything. I gotta be quiet because my wife's coming in the corner. Why your thighs tight? What were you doing?
So it's from walking around in those feelers, bro.
You gonna stop coming for my feelers, man. They fresh, bro.
That's what it's from. But no, I mean, I don't want to get too much into offensively because we're gonna talk about that on, I guess, Thursday night. I want to get in. I want to talk about receivers, but I just don't want. I mean, more about receivers as who my six are. But I'll talk about that when we talk about surprise cuts and things like that. But what are you most excited for this year?
I want to see the defense come together. The offense is something that it's gonna be exciting, and I'm gonna be stupid excited about the offense. But the thing is, I have expectations for the offense. You know what I mean? Like, I expect a Kyle Shanahan-led offense with those kind of weapons, and he's got his quarterback to be good. I expect production from that side. So if we come out and we put up 31 points in a game, that's not going to surprise me. I expect that from Kyle Shanahan, But if this defense can come together with all these new faces that are out there and we can hold an opponent to 17 points, I'm going to be like, yo, like, good shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm going to get surprised. That's what I'm most excited about. I want to see the defense put it all together. I've been a 49er fan my entire life, but I didn't really get like heavy, like passionate into football till like 2009, 2010. And no, I'm lying. It was before then because Harbaugh came in 2011. So it was like at the end of the Nolan, beginning of the Singletary. Well, Singletary only had that 1 year. And then at the end of the Singletary's year, we had Tom Sula's first game that was against Arizona. But like, it was so like defense. The Niners offense could never do anything. And you could see the potential in these defensive players, man. I mean, I remember seeing Takeo Spikes and Patrick Willis running around, and they would look really good together, but the defense would just be gassed because the offense could never do their part. Well, now it's like the exact opposite. I expect the offense to do their part, but I expect the defense to burn those guys out. Well, if we can get that defense back, we can get that defensive mentality, get those bullies, man. This team could be really, really special this season. I'm not talking about, 5 or 6 seasons, 4 seasons from now or whatever. This is there's a reason they got 6-year deals. This is when we're supposed to flick the switch. It's supposed to happen right now. And so the defense is definitely what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with you. I think the defense is probably going to be – I'm super stoked about this defense this year. And it's not just because we got Nick Bosa or we traded for D Ford or, we brought in Quan Alexander. I mean, don't get me wrong. Those are reasons that I'm excited, right? But you saw this defense start playing better when Robert Saleh started to change up the defense we were playing in. He had more blitz calls. He had more different packages, things that he started to do. So I'm excited to see what he brings. And he gets a lot of hate, Robert Saleh. And I'm excited to see what they bring to the table with Robert Saleh this year with some other pieces and getting this team to play healthy and play hard. I mean, pretty much, you know what I mean? I'm excited to see how Robert Saleh does with good pieces. And what I mean by good pieces is the Nick Bosa, the Quan Alexander, the D Ford trade, another year for DJ Jones, Eric Armstead who played very well towards the end of the season last year. Solomon Thomas, seeing how he reacts, how he comes back this year with him saying that he's over everything that was going on before. How's he gonna overcome and react? And the most exciting thing is I think we're gonna be a lot more fierce this year with turnovers, whether that is strip sacks, strip fumbles. I always say strip sacks, sack strips, whatever you want to call them.
It's strip sacks. That's not why I was laughing though. I was just laughing because it's like almost impossible to not be better at turnovers. So.
Well, but I'm saying I want to be at least like top 10 in the league compared to what we were before.
Oh wow, you're really turning it around. Okay.
Yeah, like really turning it around. We went out and we got D Ford, who led the league in strip sacks last year. We got a guy in Nick Bosa who can play against the run and the pass. We got a guy in Quan Alexander who was a interception guy, a good coverage linebacker, a guy who is always trying to knock the ball out. I think he had 7 strip tackles, whatever you want to call them. But I want to see these picks. Like, the picks are going to come more if the pass rush works well. And that's where our DBs are going to step up their game. And if our pass rush can work and we can get those strip sacks, it's even better. So
sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, I'm just excited about seeing this defense turn around with turnovers.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, man. I think that's why the Niners targeted certain guys that they targeted. They go after D Ford, who people talk about the sacks, people talk about the pressures and all that stuff, but he also led the league in like strip sacks or forced fumbles. So he might not have recovered them all, but he was getting busy back there. Same thing for Quan Alexander at his position. That's what he did. If you look at the acquisition of Richard Sherman, last year was the anomaly, right? He didn't have any interceptions for the first time in his career, but since 2011, no DB has had more interceptions than Richard Sherman. Like these are the things that the team went out of their way to go and get. And then if more can happen to work out at the safety position, I don't know if it's going to work out at all. I'm excited about him moving there, but I'm not trying to get my hopes up because I just feel like the Niners are going to just move him back. I don't think they're going to let him truly compete there. I think he's more filling in than anything, but he's a ball hawk also. He had like 7 picks in college. He's a guy that has a nose for the ball. This is what we need to see. If you want these guys to turn it around, you got to get guys who have a nose for the ball. They might not always be in the right spot at the right time, but when that ball comes to them, they're gonna hold on to it. And so I completely understand what you're saying, man. I was looking at our schedule. I was gonna ask you a quick question about it, and then we can get out of here. I'm saying quick. It might not be that quick. If you had to predict our lowest scoring game, our highest scoring game, and the game decided by 2 points or less. So we either win by 2, lose by 2, or 1, or we tie. What would be those games for you? Lowest scoring game, highest scoring game, and 2 points or less victory, like a tough, hard-fought game. Now, I'm asking you this on a whim, so I'll start. All right, I'll go first, obviously, because it's not fair that I had some time to think about this and you didn't. I'm going to say that our lowest scoring game is going to be on the East Coast here, a game that I expect to be at, and it's going to be against the Ravens. I do think that they lost some very key pieces on defense, but when teams travel east, it just doesn't usually work in their favor. And so I think that's going to be our lowest scoring game all season. And that is in week – I don't even know what week it is, but that's December 8th is that game.
No, it can't be December 8th. That's New Orleans.
I meant December 1st. It's the week before. I'm sorry. You're right. It's December 1st. That's the Ravens game. 2 back-to-back East Coast games for the Niners is going to be rough. It's going to be rough. I get to go to back-to-back games this year, man. Green Bay and then the Ravens. I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm excited, man.
Because I get to go to Tampa and then the home opener.
There you go.
First 2 games of the year.
Good luck with that, man. I hope we kick some ass for you. If Tampa Bay is putting together a schedule for themselves where people with vendettas are coming home and they're coming with a vengeance, you got Alexander going there week 1, and then you got McCoy going week 2 with the Panthers. they're stacking the chips against themselves. That's something that BA is going to get those guys hyped up about. You watch. Our highest scoring game of the year, I think, is going to be against the Rams. I don't know. I was trying to figure out if it's going to be the one where we're at home or the one in LA, and I'm leaning towards the one in LA. That one is October 13th. I don't think the Rams defense is going to be that good, and I expect a shootout. So I think that one could be our highest scoring game there. 45 points, 42, 45 points, something like that. And then our toughest game of the year, not necessarily high scoring or low scoring, but where the teams are just going back and forth. You know what I mean? Think about that game in the playoffs against the Giants, where nobody wanted to win that game. Both of the teams were just struggling. Think about that Saints game, where in the playoffs the year after the Giants game. Or no, actually, it was the same year. It was a game before the Giants game. We're just going back and forth offensively. That game was a shootout. The next game was a low-scoring affair. I think we have another one of those games this year, and I think it's going to be against the Panthers. I think you look at it, and these teams are going to match up well, strength against strength, weakness against weakness. I can see our defensive line having a really good game against that Panthers offensive line. Our defense is going to give them all kinds of hell. They have the short, shifty back in CMC, Christian McCaffrey, but all of our linebackers and our DBs are short and shifty and speedy also. We can keep up with a guy like that. I think our defensive line handles their offensive line. And so it's going to be the offenses are going to struggle, but there's going to be explosive plays because they have explosive players. Both of these teams do. And if you look at our offense against that defensive line that they're putting together over there, they got Dontari Poe. They have Kawan Short. They just got Gerald McCoy. And then they got Addison over there still. They've got Luke Kuechly. They have a nice-ass front, man. That defense is nice over there, man. But
sucks they just don't have a quarterback.
Huh?
I said it sucks they just don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I don't know if Cam is going to be back or not, but they're gonna. I think it's going to be a game that we're going to go back and forth with, and it's going to be decided by 2 or less points. So those are my 3 games.
All right. So lowest scoring game you did first, right?
I did lowest scoring, highest scoring, and then closest game.
All right. Let's see. Lowest scoring game. Lowest scoring game.
And I just saw the question here. Do I think Cam's shoulder is going to be ready? I'm not sure. They're trying to make it sound like he's going to be ready and everything. They're really downplaying it. They make it sound like he's going to be ready week 1. And if that's the case, then cool. We don't play them until October, like around Halloween. So I think he'll be ready by then. Is that a Thursday game? No, we play Thursday the week after that. Okay. Yeah. We play them October 27th, and we play October 31st, which is a Thursday night game against the Cardinals. So, but yeah, I do think Cam will be ready by then. I don't know how good he'll be, but I do think he'll be ready by then. Sorry, Nick, I did not mean to cut you off, buddy.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm gonna go lowest scoring game. Oh man, this is a toss up for me. I'm gonna go with Cleveland. The Cleveland game. And the only reason I'm gonna go with that is because it's week 4. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with my other one. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. Yep. I think this is gonna be our lowest scoring game. This is really hard.
Nick, all right, hold up. How do you I contemplated Pittsburgh being our highest scoring game. They haven't been able to put it together defensively in years.
Yeah, but it's just I don't know, man. It's our first game home. We're coming from the East Coast for 2 games.
And we're going to be ready to show off, man.
I don't know, man. I just think I don't know. For some reason, I'm going to that game, and I hope that we win that game because I think I had us losing that game. when we did our early predictions with schedules, which I just don't think, Tampa Bay and Cincinnati, we should pretty much destroy. We should, right? I don't think it's gonna have to take a lot of points to beat the Steelers, I don't think it's gonna have to take a lot of points to beat the Steelers, but I think we're gonna lose that game, and I think that this is where we come back with a kind of like you said, where you go to the East Coast. I think it's just like going to be that little bit of a lag. Like you've been on the East Coast, you're ready to get home, you're just not going to all the way be there, and it's just, to me, that's going to be the one of the harder games because look, adapting to the West Coast time from the East Coast is really hard, and I know people say that, oh well, they live in the West Coast. Well, yeah, but their bodies are going to be they're 2 weeks on the East Coast time. 2 weeks. So that whole week of practice is probably going to be really lackluster. Getting them back to the regular, workouts and things like that with time. 2 weeks is a long time to be away and then come back and readapt, whether you're going to the West Coast or you're going to the East Coast. And then to play a football game of different timing. I just think that's going to be our lowest scoring game. Highest scoring game, I'm going to go with Washington. And now this is weird because I'm going totally opposite of what I just did. Going to the West Coast losing time, going to the East Coast losing time. But we're going to be
You can't lose time in both time zones.
No, I'm saying what I'm saying is like you're losing time going back to the West Coast, mind body-wise, and you're losing time still body-wise going back. I know you're not actually losing time. But it's weird because I'm picking a West Coast and an East Coast game, but I just don't see Washington's defense really being stellar. So I'm going to go highest there. Closest game.
I thought about Bengals for that one also, like highest scoring game against the Bengals. I'm not sure what their defense is at all.
It could very well easily be Tampa or Cincinnati is the highest scoring games, but I'm just trying to change it up a little bit here. And then the closest game, the other game that it could be highest is Green Bay and San Francisco. That's going to be a shootout. That's going to be another one.
That'll be a good for closest game. Actually, that one was actually really close when we just played them, right? What was the final score for that one?
Yeah, they beat us by a touchdown.
And that was with CJ Beathard at the helm. Like that was, we had no bit. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That was Greg Maben's famous game.
And everyone blamed Akella with. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah. Closest game, I'm gonna go with the Saints and Niners. That's gonna be a ball out this year.
Saints are quietly putting together a nice defensive roster. I'll say roster. I don't know if I can't say for sure the defense is going to be any good, but the roster is looking pretty good on paper, the players that they're accumulating over there. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that the Steelers got one of my favorite linebackers in this draft, didn't they? Did they get – it wasn't White, was it?
Oh, yeah. No, they didn't take who, the Steelers? Yeah, the Steelers.
They got one of the Devons, didn't they?
They got Devin White.
Yeah, they might be okay on defense, Nick. That might not be a bad pick after all, man.
Yeah, they should be okay. I mean, they got 2 fast linebackers there now.
Yeah, that might not be a bad pick, bro. This is a little exercise I figured we would do before we wrap this thing up here. We've been going for just a little bit more than an hour now.
Bush is the one they got, not White. That's it.
Bush, yeah.
Bush was the first one off the board. Yeah,
I like both of them, but I couldn't remember which one they got. But yeah, the Steelers been making some moves defensively. So have the Saints, man. The Saints have been like, they've been putting together a couple of nice drafts. Some of the picks that I like. Washington picked up a lot of guys that I like this year in the draft. I really like Washington's draft. That was supposed to be Reuben Foster's revenge game, and he's done for the season already, so we don't have to worry about facing him, which kind of sucks. I know that the Niners know Reuben Foster's weakness. I love when a defensive player leaves the Niners and we get to play against them. I feel like we exploit their weaknesses, not that they have insight to what we're going to do. I feel like it's the other way around when you have a guy like Kyle Shanahan.
Well, I wish we did that with Will Hoyt every time we played Seattle.
I mean, we did okay against Seattle. We beat them once, and then the other time we put up what?
We got
17
destroyed.
something like that.
Yeah, but we got destroyed that first game with them.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's because our defense didn't do anything, but you talk about exploiting them. I think we might have put up more than that. I think we lost like what, 26-43 or something like that.
No, I think it was 17.
It was 17?
Yeah.
Seattle 49ers. Let me see here. Seattle 49ers 20.
Was it 17 or 19?
18. I don't remember. Oh God, it was 16. Oh, it was just 2 touchdowns. It was only 2 touchdowns that game.
Yeah, we talked about that. Remember, because we talked about Pettis had a touchdown and
it was
Mostert, I think it was.
No, Pettis had both of them.
Pettis had both in that game, and he was the leading receiver with like 136 yards.
We scored 2 touchdowns, got a field goal, and only put up 16 points.
Yep.
You know how hard that is to do? That math is bad, bro.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was going to be a game that I was thinking about. I saw somebody comment in there that they thought that Seattle would be a close game. I don't think
they usually blowouts. Even if we win, it's like I don't think it's going to be close. If we win or they win, it's going to be I think it'll be 7 points or so.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be 2 points. It'll be at least a field goal or a touchdown, either way.
Right.
2 points, I think, when I think of 2 points, and then people said, oh, well, Drew Brees lost his arm strength. Look, Drew Brees was in – it doesn't all have to come down to Drew Brees. I mean, they got other weapons, and Drew Brees was just in an NFC championship game last year, and people –
they should have won. They should have won the game.
Yeah, people have been saying, about Drew Brees losing arm strength or – look, I'll still take a Drew Brees over a Dak Prescott. I'll still take a Drew Brees over even a
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I'd probably still take Drew Brees over Aaron Rodgers, not because of a deep ball, but because of what else is around him.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what? What do you mean by that?
Like, I still like the players better on the Saints than I do what Green Bay.
So you're going to take the Saints over the Packers, not Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees.
Yeah, I won't take Aaron Rodgers as in.
I think Drew Brees is a way better leader than Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking Drew Brees today over
He
Aaron
is, but I'm saying Drew Brees doesn't have a better deep ball than Aaron Rodgers.
No. But he's more accurate though. He doesn't need to be able to throw it 60 yards anymore. He can still get it 50. We saw me do 56. I have faith that Drew Brees can still do that. So that's deep enough.
He's a more accurate quarterback than Aaron Rodgers is. I mean, he'll eat you alive 10 to 15 yards. But
and he's surgical with it. No, don't even short him like that. He'll eat you alive 10 to 30 yards. He's surgical, bro.
So, but I don't know. I wouldn't take. I would definitely take Drew Brees. I'm having a brain fart. What's LA's Chargers? I'm having a brain. No, not the Rams. Chargers.
Phillip Rivers.
Oh, Phillip Rivers. People are saying that he's been washed, and this guy is just still balling out. Like,
Phillip Rivers is a badass, bro.
I love Phillip Rivers. Him and his 10 kids, man.
He don't joke when I have a lot of kids. All right, I take that personal.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying like he's still like. I don't know how he manages time with children and playing football, and I mean, this guy is ready to sign another 3-year deal. Like, he's not washed up, I like Rivers, man. If Rivers had Rivers should have won a Super Bowl already. That year, Tomlinson and whatchamacallit went off. They should have won a championship that year. But either way, like I said, I'd still take Drew Brees over Dak Prescott. I'd take Drew Brees over.
You don't have to do this whole list because Drew, in my opinion, personally, Drew Brees is a top 3 quarterback in this league right now. Top 3. Yeah, I said it. And that's including over Patrick Mahomes. I don't trust Patrick Mahomes as much as I trust Drew Brees. I don't. He might be more fun to watch. There's a difference between entertainment and who's more fun to watch. I would probably rather watch a Patrick Mahomes, but what quarterback do I trust more? It's 100% Drew Brees. I got Drew Brees. Give me Drew Brees. Give me Russell Wilson. and give me who's going to be my number 3 wide quarterback. Drew Brees, Russell
Wow,
Wilson.
you really have to think about that?
Yeah, I do. I think Tom Brady is really good, but I think it's more about scheme. They give him the short stuff and let the guys do what they do. You
Yeah,
know
but
what I
you're
mean?
talking about trusting. Like,
But I'm talking about ability also. I'm talking about ability also. Like if you take this quarterback off of this team and put him in a different scheme or with different players, that quarterback will still get this team to the playoffs. Or they'll still be in the playoff hunt week 15, 16, and 17. Russell Wilson is one of those guys. Drew Brees is definitely one of those guys. And see, that's how, you know how people say, oh, which quarterback do you like? Which quarterback do you like? And then they tell you reasons why, and it has a lot to do with the supporting cast. When I do these things, it was this before. It was if I take this quarterback and I put him on the Browns, are the Browns suddenly a good team? And if the answer was yes, then I like that quarterback. And so when people say, who are your top 5 quarterbacks? My list is always completely different than everyone else's. Russell Wilson is a winner. As much as I hate to say it, it's the truth. The guy knows how to play. He knows how to keep plays alive. He'll scramble. He'll run. He'll throw deep. And he's pretty accurate when he needs to be.
He's probably got the best deep ball in the NFL right now.
He's good, man. He's good. He's flat out good. Drew Brees is probably number 1. I think you put Drew Brees on any football team right now, any of them. You pick any team in this league. What's the worst team in the league right now?
I don't know.
I can't even say Buffalo. I like Buffalo's roster a lot.
I like Buffalo's roster too.
All right, Arizona. Arizona's probably the worst, right?
Yeah, probably.
You put Drew Brees on the Cardinals. Oh, and they just got Andy Isabella too.
Kyler Murray too.
Come on, man. You put Drew Brees on that roster, they're okay. They're okay. They're giving us headaches for sure.
I don't think. All right, so somebody said Miami.
He would do damage in Miami. He would eat that division up. The defenses in that division. Drew Brees would shred those defenses. Are you kidding me?
See, I don't know, man. Drew Brees has been with Sean Payton just as long as Belichick and Brady have been together.
Yeah, but you got to look at the player's ability. So that's the thing. Like you got to ignore play calling and play design. Drew Brees' accuracy, his ability to scramble around in the pocket. He's not a scrambling quarterback, but he's mobile. He will move in the pocket as necessary. He's smart too. He won't take a sack. He'll throw it away. How many times have you seen Drew Brees falling down and flick the wrist and throw it away? Like he's not taking sacks. He's a smart guy, man. Drew Brees is he's probably my favorite quarterback active right now. He really is. Him.
Brady for me is still definitely top 3.
I mean, I want to give it to Brady. I do.
As much as I hate Brady, he's still.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can't stand him. I cheer against them every single game. Yeah, because I'm just talking. It's the same reason I cheer against the Warriors right now. It's not that I don't think they're good. It's not that I don't think they're going to win. If I had to bet my mortgage, I'm betting on the Bradys. I'm betting on the Warriors. You know what I mean? But I'm not cheering for them. I like to see the underdogs win. And so, but Brady's definitely up there. I'm just not sure if he's got it physically. You know what I mean? Like I've seen some wobblers coming out last year and all that, but I think he'll figure out a way to pick your defense apart. You know what I mean? So you know what? Yeah. I'm putting him in my top 3.
He's got to be, dude. Just his football knowledge in general. Like,
yeah. He's you know what's weird is that
now if you take Tom Brady from his first 2 years at a New England system, I think he would have adapted to that system just as well as he did to Belichick. So that's why I can't take maybe if you take him out now, yeah, he's older. He might not be, but he still has that general football knowledge. Like there's no.
And we got to remember this too. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's Belichick's system. It's Belichick's system."
It's probably Brady's system.
Belichick is a defensive-minded coach. He's not an offensive-minded coach. We always say it's Belichick's system. It's Belichick's system. It's not. It's not. He's a defensive guy. So, but you know, it is what it is. I am going to put Brady in there because I think Brady now is mentally where Peyton Manning was 5 or 6 years ago. And Peyton Manning was the smartest quarterback at the line of scrimmage.
Peyton Manning was the first quarterback in the NFL to ever call his own plays.
Well, and he's also the first quarterback in the NFL to win a Super Bowl with 2 different teams. He's the only quarterback to ever do that.
Yeah, Denver and Indianapolis.
So I really like Peyton Manning, like cerebral. Peyton Manning had it up here. He was not the most physically gifted. His footwork in the pocket was good because he did this with his feet. He kept them moving. So anytime he was ready to throw, boom, plant and throw. I love that about him. But that was about all he did physically that I liked. He always threw noodles up there. Like people said, I was throwing ducks. Peyton Manning was throwing ducks, bro, like straight ducks. But he was accurate. He kept his feet moving, and he knew how to get into the head of your opposing team. I think that's where Tom Brady is now with a little bit more physical gifts. So, yeah, I'm going to put Tom Brady in my top 3. My top 3 quarterbacks right now are definitely Drew Brees. I'm going to say Tom Brady, and then I'll say Russell Wilson.
There you go. That's better.
Does Aaron Rodgers make your top 3?
I would probably go Russell. Not
is this in order?
No. Oh, no.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. All right.
I'm going Brady 1. I mean, there's no denying that he can't be 1. Then I'd probably go. Now we're talking overall as mentality. I'm not counting Super Bowl wins and all that other stuff, but football mentality, being a quarterback, just in general, knowing the position. I'd probably have to go. Oh man, this is a hard one between Rodgers and Breeze.
Somebody said, "Put Big Ben in another team," and all I said, I read the comment, and my answer was he'd get beat up in the locker room. That's
he probably would. You're probably right. 1 is Brady. 2, I'm gonna go with. Man, this is really hard. I'm gonna go with Breeze, and then 3, I'll go with Rodgers.
Brady's, Breeze, and Rodgers. That's dope, man. That's really good. A lot of people are buying in on the Patrick Mahomes thing already. It's just a little early for me for all that. And Patrick Mahomes still throws, a nice amount of picks. He's a little boneheaded with it. The guy is a lot of fun to watch, though. He's everything we wanted Colin Kaepernick to turn into already. That's what he is now. What we wanted Colin Kaepernick to turn into. And he's got a hell of a play caller behind him in Andy Reid. Colin Kaepernick never had that. He was stuck with Greg Roman. So, it's pretty cool. There's Cam Newton out there running. Ron Rivera is pleased with the progress of Cam Newton's shoulder. He's out there with the team. So, yeah, whoever asked that question, I do think he'll be ready. He's doing throwing motions with a sock with rocks in it. So
he had the same surgery I had.
Yeah. Except your bicep still hasn't started working yet, right?
Yeah, big difference. I mean, mine was probably worse than his. And he's an athlete, and I'm just a fatty. So he probably heals a lot faster than I do. But yeah,
I just drank a bug.
You just drank a bug?
Yeah, it was in my cup. It's gone now.
Oh my God. Yeah, I can't get Patrick Mahomes top 3 yet after 1 year in the league. Like, I just can't. Like, there have been players to have fantastic years and then just go downhill.
I don't know how anybody could have Russell Wilson below Aaron Rodgers. I just don't. I don't get it. I swear to God, I don't get it.
That was my top. That was my number 3 that was hard between those 3, Russell Wilson, Rodgers, and Breeze. But overall, mentality-wise, it's close. It's really close. But the only reason I took
Aaron Rodgers is a quitter. He's a fucking crybaby. And the entire league gives him all the excuses in the world. Oh, he needs better weapon. He needs better weapon. Are you kidding me? People would have killed for the combination of Cobb and Nelson. Come on, man. He's had one of the best tackles and offensive lines in the league, and they just kept crying and crying. Oh, he needs a better defense. He needs a better defense. He needs this. He needs that. Aaron Rodgers is the only elite quarterback that I've ever heard of in my life. Need everything else to be perfect around him for him to be successful. He's the only one. When has Tom Brady ever had a top defense? When has Drew Brees ever had a top 15 defense?
But you're taking away from him. We're talking about talent. We're not talking about his crybabiness. We're talking about talent. You can't say that Aaron Rodgers is not a talented quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers, come on. No. Yes, listen. He can throw a football. Great. He can throw from different platforms. Great. So can Matt Stafford. That doesn't make you a good quarterback. A good quarterback improves the play of the players around him. Aaron Rodgers is the only person that's supposed to be elite that everyone unequivocally says needs X, Y, and Z in order to win. You have never heard that excuse for Tom Brady. Tom Brady, year after year, takes a team of nobodies and takes them to deep in the playoffs. Drew Brees every year takes a team of nobodies, and he makes those guys household names. You think Marcus Colston is a known name if he didn't play with Drew Brees? Come on, bro. Like Drew Brees does this with every – who is this Hill guy? What is that, their tight end? Everyone's cheering for? Some guy named Hill? Like, come on, man. Aaron Rodgers is the only guy that's supposed to be elite that needs stellar play around him all the time. He gets so many passes it pisses me off. Oh, when Stefan sees this video, he's going to chew me up. But I'm telling you, man.
Aaron Rodgers is Stefan's dude.
Because I don't like it. And I'm not saying that he's not physically talented. Aaron Rodgers in a box, if you ask him to make a throw and drop back and do whatever, he can. But for whatever reason, it has been said over and over that Aaron Rodgers needs a better defense. Aaron Rodgers needs a better run game. Aaron Rodgers needs better wide receivers. Aaron Rodgers needs better tight ends. They went out and got Jimmy Graham for this dude. Nothing. Like they do.
Yeah, so but Jimmy Graham wasn't the same as he was.
No one's the same.
He's one of those system guys.
They went out. The Packers had what, 6 or 7 draft picks, and 4 of them were wide receivers. Like they are like trying to get rid of all the excuses for this guy. He has all the excuses in the world. I've never seen a quarterback with elite status. Let me clarify. I've never seen a quarterback with elite status always have it said that he needs more weapons around him. The elite guys make the weapons look good. That's what elite is at the quarterback position. Elite quarterbacks. It's hard for me to not say that Ben Roethlisberger is elite because every year it seems like Pittsburgh has a top 5 wide receiver on their roster, and they just cycle through them. You can go back to the Plexico Burress days and just keep going. Plexico, Mike Wallace, Emmanuel Sanders,
Antonio Holmes. Santonio Holmes.
Antonio Holmes. Demaryius was Thomas there? No, Thomas was with the
he was with Denver.
He was with the Broncos. There's another one though. Oh, Antonio Brown. Like every year it seems like there's a really good wide receiver.
Hines Ward.
That's goddamn it, Hines Ward. Jesus Christ. Like Hines Ward is one of my favorite. When was the last time Ben Roethlisberger didn't have a top 5 wide receiver? See, to me, that tells me that Ben Roethlisberger is good. He's making guys look good because when they leave, what did Mike Wallace do? You know what I mean? What did Emmanuel Sanders do? He was okay, cool. He had another 1,000-yard season, I think, once. But that was with Peyton Manning. He went from one elite wide quarterback to another. But Aaron Rodgers has to have Randall Cobb plus Jordy Nelson plus this guy plus that guy. He's got Devontae Adams now, and they're going to say, "Well, Devontae Adams isn't fast." Like they're going to start coming up with these. You'll see.
Devontae Adams, yes, I'll give you. Jordy Nelson, I wouldn't even put in consideration with some of those guys that came from Pittsburgh.
Get the hell out of here. Jordy Nelson had one of the best catch radiuses in the NFL and had the best hands. Jordy Nelson was 6'4", 6'5".
What did he do when he went to a different team?
He was old. He was washed up in Oakland. Are you kidding me? You just said the same thing yourself about – okay, I see what's happening. Nope, not going to get Mike riled up.
I won't compare – I can't compare Jordy Nelson to a Hines Ward to an Emmanuel Sanders in their prime young.
Aaron Rodgers had Jordy Nelson in his prime though, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. I still don't think Jordy Nelson was as good as those guys in their prime.
What?
I still don't.
You're racist. You're saying that because he's white. You're racist.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Jordy Nelson was damn good, bro. 6'4", excellent route runner. above average hands, just under.
I'm not saying that he wasn't a good receiver. I'm just saying you can't put him with Hines Ward. You can't put him with Emmanuel Sanders. You can't put him with even a Santonio Holmes when he was
You
the
don't
1
think
year he
Jordy
played.
Nelson? You don't think Jordy Nelson was a better wide receiver than Hines Ward?
No.
You are freaking crazy, bro.
No.
You are nuts. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. In their prime, I think Hines Ward was a better receiver than Jordy Nelson.
Oh my God. All right. Okay. I loved Hines Ward. Loved him. Loved Hines Ward. Never taking him over Jordy Nelson. It's not happening. I'm sorry. It's not happening. Nelson gave you just too much. I understand that they won a Super Bowl, and so people have an infatuation with these guys for a little bit longer. Their names mean a little bit more. But you're looking at talent and what these guys bring to the table. Jordy Nelson, he had speed and size and hands. Come on, he's the white Calvin Johnson. Fuck out of here. Jordy Nelson was the man, bro. Oh, man.
I don't know.
But Aaron Rodgers needs more help. They can go 13-3. Rodgers needs more help. It's always an excuse for that guy, man. I got Russell Wilson better than Aaron Rodgers.
LeBron Ship said they were deep. They had Driver, Jennings, Nelson, and I believe Grant at tight end.
Yeah, they've always had a good squad around him, but people have consistently.
But that's the year they won the Super Bowl, wasn't it?
I'm not sure their Super Bowl year. I'm not sure. Because they've consistently had good players around him, and people keep saying, oh, no, they don't. No, they don't. He needs more help. And then the 1 year, was it the year they went to the Super Bowl? Who was the receiver from Minnesota that they got? They got a good receiver from Minnesota 1 year.
I don't remember who it was.
Oh, my God. This is going to bug the hell out.
Blank Stare says, he's like, wow, Nick, Nelson was once considered the best receiver in the league. Yes, I'm not saying that he wasn't considered a good receiver, but he didn't do it as much as Hines Ward did over his career. Hines Ward is a better wide receiver than Jordy Nelson career-wise, tenure-wise.
I think you're wrong. I don't know. I could look up these stats, and Hines Ward's stats could blow Jordy Nelson out the water, but ability.
But how long did Jordy Nelson do it? He was in the league.
I feel like Nelson did it for like 5 years straight. Hines Ward didn't have a 5-year run, bro. He didn't.
We got to look this up, bro. And it's not even just about stats. It's just my feeling on Hines Ward as a better all-around, tough ass, good catching, going to run your ass over type of receiver compared to Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson had 4 1,000+ yard seasons. He had a 1,500 yard season. He's got 1,200, 1,500, 1,300, 1,200. All right. Career-wise, he's got 8,500 yards, 85, 87. I'm going to type in Hines Ward.
So you're telling me Jordy Nelson's a Hall of Fame type receiver?
I'm saying that he's better than Hines Ward. You're asking me something different.
But so the better guy doesn't go to the Hall of Fame and the other guy does?
Who's better, Richie James or Trent Taylor? Is he Hall of Fame?
Neither of them are Hall of Famers. Hines Ward is a Hall of Famer.
Oh, come on, because he got a Super Bowl though. Nick, don't come on, man. You know Hall of Famer and Pro Bowl is all about votes, man. You know that as well as I do. How many people from the 49ers offense the year we were going to the Super Bowl?
No, I want to hear Hines Ward's stats.
All right, so Hines Ward played from 98 to 2011. God damn. It's a lot of years. What is that? Let me see. That's 10, 11, 12, 13 years. And he finished with 12,083 yards. He's got a lot of yards, man. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years with 1,000 yards. He doesn't have a 1,500 yard year. He's got, what's his highest here? 1,392. Oh no, 1,329 on 112 receptions. So he's finished. He's got 12,083 yards with 12.1 yards per reception. Where you got Jordy Nelson, who finished with, well, I don't know if he's finished because he played last year, so he might not be done yet.
Oh, he's
He's got
finished.
85, 87, and he's got 14 yards a catch. But Jordy Nelson's only been in the league for 10 years. Hines Ward played for 3 or 4 more years than him. So he could still catch him. He could still get him.
Jordy
Like,
Nelson is done, bro. He is. There's no way he's catching Hines Ward. He's washed
why?
up now.
You're saying that what? Based off of what he did in Oakland? He still had 700 yards last year. He'd have been the best wide receiver on the Niners last year. He had 700 yards, bro, and didn't play all 16.
That doesn't mean he's better than Hines Ward.
Oh my God. Okay. This is why these conversations are funny, because it's all subjective. There's no definitive way of proving or measuring anything. We go to stats to try to help us guide us along the way. But Jordy Nelson's got 14 yards of reception. Where's the touchdowns at? He's got 72 touchdowns. Where you give me Hines Ward. What did I just say? 93?
Yeah, I didn't hear what you were talking about, though.
Damn, you just ignoring me. Jordy Nelson has 72 touchdowns. Hines Ward has
85.
85, yeah. He averages 12.1 yards a catch. Nelson's at 14. Catch percentage. Hines Ward is at 64.2. Jordy Nelson is at career 66. Nick, get out of here, man. Give me Jordy Nelson all day, every day.
Give me Hines Ward.
You're on dope. You on that dope, Nick?
I'm on that Hines Ward dope.
It's a fun argument. Hines Ward's got a couple more years over him, though, so we got to see. We got to see what Jordy Nelson does, man. I didn't know he put up that many yards last year. 700 plus, only played in like 14 games or something like that. That's not bad. And he was a late ad for the
Hines Ward is so physical. I don't understand it. You like physical guys. How, like, Hines Ward was running linebackers and defensive backs over.
And I just told you,
he had 157 20-plus yard catches, like, in his career. Like,
I just told you that I loved Hines Ward. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Hines Ward is one of my favorite receivers, and I would still take Jordy Nelson over Hines Ward. You give me one of these guys in their prime, Jordy Nelson is way more dynamic than what Hines Ward was.
Get the hell out. You're crazy.
Okay.
You're crazy.
All right, man. All right. This is a fun show, man. I'm not going to belabor the moment, man. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up here. Anything else you want to talk about before we dip?
Nah, we ended up going off topic of Niners and Niners football in general, but that was a fun talk. I'm going to run a poll and see who the better receiver is. I got to see what these people think, because there can't be that many crazy people out there like you, Mike. But no, both of them were good receivers, but I would take Jordy Nelson, or I would take Hines Ward over Jordy Nelson in his prime. But yeah, no, I don't have anything else, man. I can't wait to dive into this offensive surprise cuts on Thursday, next show. And yeah. So,
I'm sorry. I wish I was trying to catch up on the comments. I wanted to read the comments when we were having the top 3 quarterback debate. If you guys are still watching this, just type in your top 3 quarterbacks here. And it's not that I dislike Rodgers. I hate the way media treats Rodgers, man. Media and the fans treat Rodgers like he's some baby. He's got to be pampered. Like, oh, poor Aaron, poor Aaron. If you guys I've never seen a guy with elite status just treated that way. But I do want to see what you guys have, who you guys have in your top 3. I'll go back and I'll read the live comments because I missed it all. I apologize about that. But guys, yeah, this has been a lot of fun. It's a Monday. We apologize about that. Again, we normally bring you our shows on a Sunday, but we did the punt pass thing and we got rained out. We weren't able to do it live. We are going to bring that to you guys again. My arm is good. My thighs are a little tight though, Don't worry about that though. We good over here. And we're going to bring it back to you guys. I'm going to get my 60 yards. I do think that I'm going to get that once the land is dry. I'm not worried about slipping. And I think I can get 50 yards in the punt too. So I think I can get 50 yards in the punt. Nick's got a nice foot. I know that it didn't look that. Did we get yours on camera?
Just one that I could like barely drop. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick had a nice punt before we were recording everything. Don't it sucks when the camera comes on and you don't do what you know you're capable of doing. Not one of my passes was as good as the one that I had in practice, as far as the way the release came out. Not one of them came
No,
out.
the one when you were warming up was tight. It had
Yeah,
a spiral, went a good distance, and then you went out there and fluked.
right. I didn't put too much air under or anything like that. But again, I couldn't step into it the way I wanted to. I'm not going to give all the excuses, but the water makes a difference, guys. All right.
Andre Moore said, "Run the 40, Mike."
I'll run the 40. I'll do the vertical before I run the 40, man. I'm too fat for that. But I'll get in some shape. I'll bring you guys some. I don't mind watching and clocking my progress and everything like that. We can have some fun with this thing, Nick. I'll start doing some workouts and stuff, and we'll see what I can do. I'll go through a whole combine gambit over here. But yeah, let's have some fun with this thing, man. Faithful, man. You guys stay locked in, man. We're gonna try to bring you guys some more stuff, man. We're getting to the lull in the season here, where a lot of stuff is gonna get dry. Expect some more player interviews and things like that from us. We're gonna try to knock some of that stuff out for you. All right. Stay locked and loaded, man. And that's it for us, man. Prepare for glory,
Anticipate pain.
but always remain faithful.
We out of here. Peace.